we're doing a point-to-point trail instead of a loop trail. And so I have called like a bunch of taxi companies, and there's like no taxi company anywhere near the park.
Oh, that's why you're calling a Canadian taxi company. That makes more sense. I see. I went down a Wikipedia rabbit hole. There's a common misconceptions page on Wikipedia that is incredibly long.
That sounds really fun.
Oh, okay. One of my favorite ones. Have you heard this like marketing case study story about how Coke invented the image of Santa being in a red suit?
I never heard that, but that sounds hilarious.
The common image of Santa Claus as a large jolly man in red garments was not created by the Coca-Cola company. It was already something that had been created and by American popular culture in the late 19th century. What's up?
Not much. Got a new haircut.
Yeah.
Went to a rave this weekend.
How was that? Who'd you see?
Not really a rave. The Movement Festival, the like big techno festival that happens in Detroit every year, was this weekend.
Cool.
So we last year went for the first time, got a 1-day ticket. 1 day is all my old man ass can handle.
Mm.
So
are you a techno guy? Are you?
No, not really.
Okay.
I like house better than techno.
Gotcha.
But Detroit is the birthplace of techno. So
I didn't know that. And yeah. Also the birthplace of Eminem.
And I'm a Detroit guy. So big Detroit guy.
Yeah.
It was fun. I could not tell you who we saw. I have no fucking clue what any of their names were. I was just there vibing and dancing.
Cool. Did you partake like many techno folks?
Not this year.
Tend to?
No.
I see.
We were just I sipped on a few seltzers, had a Ferrari shot before we left.
What is a Ferrari shot?
A Ferrari shot is equal parts Fernet and Campari. Ferrari.
Cool. Like him.
Yeah. It's like.
Do you like Fernet? Are you a Fernet person?
I don't know. I want to be a Fernet person. I love Amari. And my cocktail nerd friends generally like Fernet. And it's
interesting.
A Fernet shot is called a bartender's handshake because it's apparently a big like industry thing where you like start your shift or something with a shot of Fernet. And so I feel like that just sounds so cool. Like a bartender's handshake, like that sounds so cool. And like I'm never gonna be a real bartender, but I can at least learn to like Fernet. I like it better. It can overpower things and taste like toothpaste. So I prefer it with other things. I really want to try I found out the most popular cocktail in like Argentina is a Fernet and Coke.
Oh, interesting.
So it sounds really weird. I want to try it.
Yeah. I hear Fernet was like popular in SF for a bit.
I could see that.
Big
seems
SF
like a
people drink.
SF hipster thing.
Yeah. I don't mind it. It's not bad. I would like to try a Fernet and Diet Coke. That feels, Fernet Diet Coke break with a cigarette.
Kind of like a Kelly Mocho. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Kelly
you
Mocho,
know more about cocktails than I do.
Kelly Mocho is like my friends in Spain told me it's like kind of a college kid drink, but it's red wine and Coke.
You know what's really good that people are gonna think is this guy? Red wine and Sprite.
Oh yeah. They call that Tinto de Verano.
None of my ideas are original. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Red wine and either like some sort of citrus soda. So often it's like a sparkling lemonade or a Sprite or something like that. It's kind of like, poor man's sangria. If you don't have like fruit and don't want to do a whole like put all the work into making a sangria, just have a Tinto de Verano.
Yeah. Nice.
We drank a bunch of them on the Camino.
Speaking of the Camino, you're going on your next trip.
Yeah. If I can get this fucking newsletter out, then I will be leaving to go up to Canada for a 3-day backpacking trip with Maddie.
Nice.
At Lion's Head National Park.
Cool.
It
Cool.
looks
Cool.
beautiful. It's like cliffs that stick out. It's a peninsula that sticks out into Lake Huron, with these like big cliffs and crystal clear water. Um, but the high is like 55, and it's supposed to be cloudy and like maybe rain a little bit.
Okay.
So little nervous, but really excited to be getting on trail. I am like having a little bit of tech overload.
Yeah,
And
I was just saying to JJ the other day that like Andrew's gonna go on a trip any one of these days. Like it's been a while. He hasn't left to go touch grass in a minute.
yeah, I've been craving it. I was gonna try while I was in between Miscreants projects. I was gonna just take off in the middle of the week 1 week, but the weather
Nice.
just wasn't cooperating. The trail I wanted to do, the 2 times that I looked to like get ready to go, it was gonna be rainy the whole time, and I was like, "Fuck that,
Nice.
rainy and cold." So,
Nice.
um,
Well, glad you get to do it now.
yeah, one
I
of
hope
my
it,
goals is 5 backpacking trips this year. So,
cool.
this is number
How,
1,
okay.
and we'll see if I can get all 5.
Gotcha. Okay. So expect to not see you in November, basically. Or
That would be
October.
great.
Yeah.
I really, I'm already planning to do this trip to Peru with one of my friends next year, and
Cool.
then one of these days, I still want to do the AT, but that's like a 6-month undertaking, and
Mm.
then a shorter thing that I really want to do is the Colorado Trail, which is like same distance as the Camino, but through mountains. So it's 500 miles, and it's supposed to be absolutely beautiful. So that one takes like a month. So
Nice.
I feel like it's possible that next year I'll disappear for like August or September.
Cool.
Yeah, probably not this fall. Probably going to stick to weekend warrior trips, but
Mm.
yeah.
Is the Colorado Trail one long walkable trail?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Starts in Denver and goes like all the way across Colorado.
Gotcha. Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool.
It's supposed to be fucking beautiful.
Um. Well, speaking of newsletter and goals, last week.
Oh, fuck.
Oh
Damn
no, that
it.
wasn't to call you out. I just meant, did you do your 2 videos? At
No.
least.
Yes. Yes? I think so. Did I?
Nice. You did one. I saw one on
Damn
LinkedIn.
it. I have another recorded, and I was waiting to I was gonna post it tomorrow, or I was gonna post it yesterday and just got busy with interviews. So it is in the queue. The newsletter is also like, I just need one more link and a description for that link. So I will have it ready before I leave for my trip. I will
We'll
have
give it to
both
you.
out.
We'll give it to you.
Yeah. By the time this is published, which you want to publish this podcast, because I am going to be in the woods for the next 3 days.
Yeah. I got it. No
Okay,
worries.
cool.
Yeah.
So by the time this is published, yes, I
cool.
did.
Okay. Good stuff. So it kind of worked. Social accountability.
Yeah.
Did you feel the same? I feel like last week you were saying you weren't like burned out, but just like very feeling unfocused. How
It
was
felt so good to just like get some shit out there.
nice?
Also, one of the LinkedIn videos that I put out is how I got my newest consulting client.
Cool. I didn't know that. I thought he was
Yeah.
just I thought he was a guy, just like a guy you knew.
He is. So one of my friends runs an AI startup in Charleston called Scout OS. Well, they're called Scout. ScoutOS.com is their domain. And so the founder of Scout saw some of my MetaMonster videos that I was putting out and was like, "Hey, I really need help figuring out some like product and growth stuff. Do you want to come help out?" And I was
Cool.
like, "Yeah, that sounds really rad. That sounds like the kind of work I've been wanting to do for a long time." Also, my current Miscreants project is in a phase right now where we're just kind of jamming on stuff, and it's so it feels a lot more like the kind of work I want to do. So it's been really fun. So
Nice.
yeah, and in general, just like putting shit out there, as it often does, even if it is kind of cringy and painful to do, I feel much better once I've done it.
I feel like, yeah, uh, before the podcast started, we were talking about sort of YouTube and how we were glad we had an editor to go publish things for
Mm-hmm.
us because it's a painful experience. But also funny enough, like it's funny that the experience afterwards is not painful and like good feeling. But,
Yeah.
but like you just forget that feeling immediately after you have to do the next one.
By the way, I was
Um,
talking about some of this in therapy
mhm.
the other day, yesterday, and I swear I must have talked about this before, but my therapist is like, this doesn't sound good. We need to unpack this.
Mhm.
And he was like, just the feeling of like cringing at promoting myself and like not liking when people ask me what I do, or it actually
Yeah.
started with the podcast. I was telling him how I like hate admitting that I have a podcast.
Oh, me too. Me too.
and, and he was like, that doesn't seem good. I think we should probably, there's something to work on there.
So what's the, if you don't mind sharing, what came out of that?
We haven't resolved anything yet. We just talked about it for a while, and my homework right now is like to pay attention to every time that I want to procrastinate and just write down why. Like
Mm,
write down the story that's in my head about why I don't want to do the thing that I'm putting off. And then
interesting.
the next thing he's going to make me do is go through all of those stories and like challenge them.
Okay, I see. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
I'll try that too. Interesting.
yeah, it's been super helpful for like relationship stuff for me,
Mhm.
and just general life stuff. If there are things that I'm consistently like unhappy with or feeling like critical of, negative about, um, writing down the stories, and one, being able to label them and think of them as stories. This is a
Mhm.
big therapy technique, is labeling. Just like
Yeah.
anytime you can notice your emotions and label them, it like takes a lot of the punch out of them. It makes them feel less intense.
Mhm.
And it gives you like kind of this like mental distance from them, that can be really helpful. And so labeling the stories and then running through each of them and asking for everyone, is this accurate? Is this helpful?
Mhm.
Just those two questions. And if not, if you say no to either of those, um, then what is the story that is accurate and helpful in this situation? And I mean, it's takes time and it takes work, but it is incredibly powerful for just like changing your mindset about things.
Cool. Okay, I'll give it. I'm gonna give it a shot as well. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Um, the like a technique of like conflict management slash communication that I learned that's similar is uh, uh, one thing that I learned to do is like I'll say like my story of you is XYZ. It doesn't have to be necessarily for a confrontation, but
Mm-hmm.
often it's useful in that context.
Yeah.
Because like I think in the same way it takes the punch out of an accusation versus like here's my understanding and it's open to be incredibly wrong because it's a story.
Yeah.
You know,
Here's the story I have in my head about you or about this situation. Do you agree with that? If
hmm
not, why not? Cool.
yeah,
Let's challenge that.
yeah,
And then also, the same vein, like just anytime you are arguing with someone, like repeating back what they said to them and being like, this is what I heard.
hmm
This is what I heard you say. And like sometimes it's like, or you even know that that's not what they said, but like when you said that, in my head it meant this.
right,
And like when you start having those conversations, it can be so helpful for getting at what are the root problems, and like are there cognitive distortions at play here that are
yeah, yeah,
creating a lot of tension where there doesn't need to be.
yeah. Nice. Um, okay, that's interesting. And I've never labeled it as like a cognitive distortion. I've labeled it as like a abstraction or like a shorthand.
Mm-hmm.
But in a product marketing sense, like one thing that in some workshops with execs or people that report up to execs that I'll run them through is like when I was an intern at Vanguard, the thing that they were pushing, like all the higher like the CEO, CTO, they're all pushing this idea of like innovation,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think as I've kind of grown in my professional career, like I always kind of felt that was bullshit, right? Because like saying something is like our goal is innovation is like a really kind of bullshit term. What I've learned is when they say the word innovation and think about the word innovation, it means fundamentally two different things. For them, it's shorthand for like an essay of other things they want to do that they're now like it's just like a shorthand between them, but it means nothing. And I think, anyway, the product marketing exercise is to unwrap what the hell you meant by like modern or innovation, because like that doesn't mean shit on a website, for example. So
and to be fair, when I say cognitive distortion, I wouldn't label anything like that a cognitive distortion. There are like documented and studied, I assume, cognitive distortions that we all find ourselves falling victim to all the time. Black or white thinking is one where you're like, everything is binary, it has to be this or this, and in reality almost everything's a spectrum. Like fortune telling, where you're like and this is, it gets a little meta, like fortune telling is like predicting the future when you don't actually know what's going to happen. Mind reading is like when you're assuming you know what the other person is thinking, and that's often where you can use that, like, what I heard you say was, or what I think you're thinking is this, and then just like they can be like, no, that's not what I'm thinking at all. And so these are cognitive distortions. And so what I meant is like sometimes in conflict, in an argument, there's a cognitive distortion at work that by labeling your thoughts and repeating them to each other, you can help each other identify those and be like, no, that's like, that's not what's happening here.
Okay, cool.
Cognitive distortions are a really helpful tool. Like once you learn to recognize them, I mean, they come up all the time. And we all have certain distortions that we lean on more than others. Like I fall victim to like the all or nothing or black or white thinking all the time.
Nice. Makes sense. Okay, cool. New rabbit hole to go down. I went down a Wikipedia rabbit hole. This is not even related to the usual stuff we talk about, but
hell yeah.
There's a common misconceptions page on Wikipedia that is incredibly long.
That sounds really fun.
Amazing Wikipedia page. Like some of these kind of blew my mind. Not that I remember any of them, but yeah, absolutely.
I'm pulling this up right now.
Oh, okay. One of my favorite ones. Have you heard this? Like marketing case study story about how Coke invented the image of Santa being in a red suit and being jolly and holding it in order to sell more Coke?
I never heard that, but that sounds hilarious.
Okay,
and sounds plausible.
Yeah, semi-common thing that people talk about. Completely BS. The common image of Santa Claus as a large jolly man in red garments was not created by the Coca-Cola company as an advertising tool. It was already something that had been created and by American popular culture in the late 19th century, and then Coke used it in the 1930s.
Yeah. I think I could have told you that. St. Nicholas was like a real figure who like is common in like the Christian church, and there's like all these St. Nicholas Day traditions that like sort of predated a lot of the like Santa Claus traditions.
Fair.
That's cool. Yeah, some of these are great. This is a funny one. Michelangelo was standing, not lying down, while painting the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel.
Common story.
How the fuck do you know? You weren't there.
That's true.
The letters AR and AR-15 stand for Armalite Rifle, reflecting the company Armalite. They do not stand for assault rifle.
Yep. Kind of blows your mind, huh? Oh, 420 did not originate from the LA police or as a penal code for marijuana use. The California Penal Code 420 just prohibits the obstruction of access to public land. 420 was started in 1971 at the San Rafael High School when a group of students would just go smoke at 420.
Dude, I'm going to read this whole page, and then I'm going to be even more insufferable than I already am, because every time one of these comes up, I'm going to be like, well, actually.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
You should not have shown me this. This is bad. This is bad.
I apologize for nothing. I don't feel a smidgen of bad for anyone who has to.
All All right, I think this is going in the newsletter. I gotta replace. I'll replace my mocktail recipe with this, or maybe
Okay.
the mapping NBA player positions.
Okay. Boom. Done. Newsletters finished.
Sweet.
Um. How's MetaMonster?
MetaMonster's good. I just got off a call um, earlier today with my friend Sam in Sulaco, who runs an SEO agency in Buffalo, New York.
Cool.
Really helpful conversation. Also had this great conversation with my friend Nigel, who runs a really awesome SEO agency, and was talking to Nigel like about how he uses AirOps and how he sees the market. Um, and he and Sam kind of reaffirmed what I've been feeling, which is like site audit tools are kind of seen as cheap or like table stakes, like they're, um,
Hmm.
and so I think I want to position this. I want to move away from like the screaming frog positioning. I may still use it as like an attention grabber, but I think I
Mm.
want to try to move away from that. Because I think it associates people, it gets people to associate us with something that they see as cheap. I'm
Mm.
also just hearing a lot of like tool fatigue from SEOs. I
Sure.
mean, this is something everyone's been feeling for a long time, and so Sam kind of confirmed. And I didn't do a super formal user interview, so I should do some more of these and like be a little bit more critical about how I ask the questions, but initially confirmed the feeling that I've been having of like we need to provide value at multiple steps in the process in order
Yeah.
um, to be worth the cost of like not just the dollars and like you know agency owners are often tired of spending more money
Hmm.
on tools. Um, so not just the dollars, but also like just the like setup and integration costs, just like the mental burden of getting a new tool up and running and figuring out how it fits into your workflow and everything.
Cool.
Um, Also heard from him that he's really trying to eliminate tools that have like a lot of overlap, to the point that he's like, I may stop paying for Screaming Frog and just use Href Site Audit. Um, so that was really interesting to hear. So like, we both need to provide value multiple steps in the process, and we need to have a really compelling differentiator for like, why do you get something here that you don't get anywhere else? Which is, as I'm saying it, sounds like duh, like that's table stakes, but still feels useful.
I think it. Well, I think it has the implication of like what to focus on, right? The difference between like trying to reach parity versus
Yeah,
uniqueness is the biggest difference. And I think,
yeah, I think that's
yeah,
absolutely right. Yeah. And I think it can be how we frame it. Like it might be that like we have some feature overlap, but
mhm,
like the we still have to be able to frame it as we're presenting something you can't get elsewhere.
yeah,
Not like we have the features you have elsewhere and a couple of other features, but
mhm,
like somehow the combination of those features is something you can't get elsewhere.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah.
nice,
The other thing that was really interesting talking to Nigel, um, and I think you said this to me too. I was talking about like ClearScope and Surfer SEO.
mhm,
So let me back up first. I started the conversation. Nigel and his company have been onboarding with AirOps, which is like, um, if listeners don't know, is like one of the SEO products out there that is most similar to the way we are currently building MetaMonster.
yeah. They
Um,
call themselves a complete content orchestration system,
yeah,
um, specifically being like an AI native tool to orchestrate said content.
yep.
Yeah.
And they have a grid based like UI plus a workflow builder.
Mhm,
Um, I think I've said it before, like they're really expensive, they're sales led, uh, and they're like really complicated to set up.
mhm,
Um, when I sent out the newsletter to our mailing list last week with like the video about where we're going, someone responded and was like, if you could be an affordable AirOps that's like easy for a normal human to use, then I think you might be onto something. Um,
cool.
And that's one of those signals that like you want to take it with a grain of salt. Like I think you might be onto something. Is not
Yeah, that
credit
doesn't
card.
pass the mom test in any
Yeah,
way. Yeah,
yeah,
that is.
yeah,
I didn't realize your newsletter folks responded to you. That's cool.
yeah. I got 3 responses from the waiting list. This is like the MetaMonster list, not my personal
Gotcha.
newsletter. Um,
Still cool, but yeah.
yeah. It was rad. Um, and so that was interesting. So that's AirOps. And so I was talking to my friend Nigel about how he's using AirOps. And the thing that I found really interesting is like we've been coming at this from like an optimization perspective, largely of like take content, optimize content, or um, or like or generation, like
Hmm.
crank out a bunch of content that's like sort of optimized. Um, and he's looking at the value of AirOps really as like higher level than that, like kind of the thinking or strategy piece, which is so interesting to me. Like the workflow that they're trying to set up, and they don't have it working well enough yet that they're satisfied. And I don't think this is everyone. I think a lot of people are using AirOps to just like crank out content at scale.
Hmm.
Um, but the way that they're trying to use it is they can upload a list of like pages or topics that they want to rank for. Um, it'll go out and do SERP analysis and like pull the content from those pages and be like, okay, here's the things, like create an outline of like what you need to cover. And then it'll cross reference the like the knowledge bases, like the company knowledge bases of their clients, and use those to be like, here's the unique angle we can bring. And the
Oh,
way he
cool.
put it is like, you know, yes, this is stuff that traditionally a human has had to do, but if you have enough content, a human can't keep it all in their heads. But
Hmm.
like vector search is perfect for finding the things that are relevant and you know, and then using AI to like summarize them and analyze them. Um, and
Cool.
so um, yeah, that was super interesting to me, is that he's really using it for more of that strategic, like how do we rank for these things piece.
Hmm.
Um, and then my friend Sam that I was talking to is doing a very similar thing manually, like one off in ChatGPT, where it's like when he gets stuck, he's like, okay, we've done all the low hanging fruit. What else? Like,
Hmm.
or like sometimes he'll be like, here's the best page on a site. How do we beat them?
Hmm.
And do stuff like that. And so he's kind of using it as like a second brain. And
Cool.
so it sounds like people are trusting the AI almost more with the like analysis than, and like the strategy, using it more
Hmm.
for the strategy than for like some of the like grunt work, which is really interesting and surprising to me. It's also kind of like what Surfer SEO and ClearScope have traditionally been used for. Um, and you know, to Nigel's point, he's like, the SERP analysis stuff is kind of table stakes. He's like, ClearScope can do that already. Like
Yeah.
that's not that interesting to me. He's like, people have been using ClearScope to just like copy the best content out there. The
Hmm.
interesting thing to me is being able to like analyze our data and present our unique opportunities.
Hmm. Makes sense. I mean, I think that's cool. Does that? Do you feel like so? I think in a belief you approached MetaMonster with was that AI should go do the grunt work, not the like strategy or high level thinking and whatnot. Do you feel like this changes things for you?
Possibly.
Okay.
And the compelling part to me is not like, I still don't see it as replacing the human in the process there. It's not like saying the human's not going to do any strategy anymore. It's
Hmm.
like when the human is stuck and like your brain is fried because you're on your 10th client call and you're just like, I can't even
Hmm.
help me get unstuck. When I've like kind of run out of ideas, what am I not thinking? Give me another perspective.
Hmm.
Um, when I have too much data to be able to keep it all in my head and accurately remember, like recall, like, okay, for this thing we have this thing over here that would be really compelling.
Hmm.
Like it's augmenting humans still, which is really
Mhm.
the core of that hypothesis, is like augment humans, don't don't replace the interesting work, but it's
Yeah.
like it's not replacing the interesting work, it's making it, it's helping you when you
Yeah, I mean,
hit
I
your
think there's,
limits.
I think there's still grunt work when it comes to developing strategy,
Yeah,
ingestion being one of the main ones. And I think, if I have, I mean, I do this with Claude, I throw a
ingestion
bunch
and
of,
summarization
yeah,
is a big one.
yeah. I throw a bunch of things at it, and I never expected to give me the right answer, but I expected to give me the answer that gets me to the right answer, because
Hmm.
it's just that, you know, I have blind spots, and it's good at finding those and offering different ideas. Um, so yeah, cool,
Yeah.
cool.
So I think like we're still going to generate page titles and meta descriptions and alt text and like all those things, but I'm trying to figure out what else do we do that is like really unique and compelling, and like, you this is like one idea, uh,
Mhm.
and got to figure out how to do it well. But and we may not be able to do it in the first version of this thing, but I think over time we can build tools that make it possible.
Cool, cool, cool.
Yeah,
Also, I saw the new demo for MetaMonster, the Enrich
I'm
tab.
blown away by how fast we're seeing that come together, and like
Mhm.
it feels so much more compelling already. It's like so far from being production ready, but it is so compelling.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just got to figure out how to talk about it and how to like communicate the value.
Mhm. Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
What's going on
Exciting
with
stuff.
you?
Uh, this week has been crazy. I've been in back to backs as well. This is my one reprieve before I get it back into it. Um,
Oof.
I think because Monday was great. Monday we didn't have any meetings, but Tuesday and Wednesday, basically all those meetings and whatnot got shifted into these 2 days, and Thursday and Friday. So
Damn. Yeah.
that so 4 day work weeks do not work for us or me at the moment. But Monday was good. It was nice to just have time to like work on different things. Black Hat is only a couple months away, so a lot of that work. We have a client site launching today. Sorry, we have a client site launching on Friday. We have another client site that's supposed to launch on Friday, but I don't think we're going to get some assets and product screenshots from them in time. And we have another client site launching next week. So it's been a mad rush to get those done. And then we have another sprint into Black Hat to get those things done. Um, so that's fun and exciting. We're officially actually starting merch also next week. And hopefully going to get that all done and ordered in time. What else?
Damn.
Been started using Linear for margins. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned that
yeah.
last time. How's that
Oh,
going?
okay. Good. 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 I had a lot. I got really really stuck with looking. I should. I'll run it by you post when you come back.
Hmm.
Broke it down. Like I broke it down into phases, and I couldn't get into the weeds of like breaking it down into actual like developer tasks versus just like, I know that phase one should be this. I know that phase two should be that. So it's good to just have my friend Claude think through some of it for me and pull, whatever things out of it.
Yeah.
It was good to kind of get unstuck there. I mean, it's going. Dustin, our dev, is killing it. You just showed me the new like code embed tool, and um, I don't know if he came up with it or Cursor helped come up with it, but I think like in like there are some features I didn't even think about that are like new quality of life improvements. So, for
Hmm.
example, in Webflow, you had a code embed and you had a bunch of code embeds into like custom code blocks.
Hmm.
Not like not they're injected HTML, CSS, not code blocks as in like syntax highlighted text blocks. Um, And in Webflow, there's just one gray box that you can't see into.
Mm-hmm.
So in margins, we're going to give you the ability to name said code blocks, because now you know what it does, for
Nice.
example, and also have it like loaded in iframes so you can actually see the thing. It makes the experience a lot better. So
Yeah, that's a big improvement.
yeah, so there's like these like little tiny micro features or micro like improvements that I haven't. It was like good, I guess. Like I don't know if this is cognitive distortion or like a logical fallacy, right? But I think like I write the PRD or I like build a wireframe and I think like that's it. That's perfect. There's no other ways to make this better. So it's a good like breaking of my frame to go like, oh, there's so many other things that I've just have learned to take for granted that are
Yeah.
like could be a way better experience. So
I guess that's why they say like the beginner mindset is so helpful, because you don't have the preconceptions
yeah,
of like, this is how things have always been done and this is how they have to be done in the future.
yeah. Or talking to customers, not something I was just reminded of that I should be doing more of that I have not been doing.
Oh yeah.
Um, both by you and by a friend who's building like a Figma, like an AI Figma competitor.
Whoa. That's a big
Um,
project.
it is a big project. It is a big
No,
project. You
thank you.
should, yeah. He showed me, and I was like, I don't know if this beats Figma, but there's a really cool part of it that's cool. Anyway, it was a good reminder that uh, I should probably call up more people and show them and
Yeah.
talk to them about it. Uh,
I think I
that's
might pay for another round of user interviews.
cool.
I just found a new site. One of the people I was interviewing for Miscreants told me about Respondent.io, which
Okay.
looks like it might be slightly cheaper than userinterviews.com.
Okay.
And so I might give them a try for, um, yeah, I might give them a try.
I will also give this a try.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do it.
Nice. Cool. Yeah. I guess I forgot these things existed because in my
Yeah, they're
brain, I don't.
really fucking useful.
Yeah. I really don't want to like talk to you about the product as you
Mm-hmm.
are a buyer, because I think you have too much context into what it is we're
100%.
working on. And the same with like our clients that are slash whatever friend. I think having a total stranger sort of like look at it and rip it apart, I think is good.
Yeah.
Also I can't trust the opinions of my friends. I
Yeah.
like they told me never to build a story lane product before story lane existed, and they also told me never to build an arrows product um, before arrows existed, and both of which have gotten to become very useful tools. So yeah. um,
The
what,
thing that I really want to do, and
mhm.
the blog post that I just published about like my updated MetaMonster validation process, I talked about how I used userinterviews.com to like schedule interviews and everything. And one of the
Cool.
things I said I wanted to do differently was like just really dive deeper on workflows and talk to
Mhm.
people even more about like, walk me through like how a client project goes from start to finish, and like get all the details, and like how
Mhm.
often are you onboarding new clients in a month, and how often are you doing each step in this process in a month, and like,
Mhm.
just figure out really what it looks like. So dive deeper into workflows, um, and then deeper into like buying process.
Yeah.
How does a new tool get discovered and bought at your company?
Yeah.
um, and figuring that out. Like I think we need to have a more generous free trial, in
Mhm.
part because I think a lot of practitioners at agencies don't have authority to buy new products, and so they can't put a credit card in to test a new product, um, without going to their boss, and their boss will often say no because their boss has different priorities. And
Right.
so I want to make it easier for people to try out MetaMonster once we have something more compelling to show them.
Nice.
And like, I don't want to go full freemium, but just like have a generous free trial that can get them to the point of like, this thing is really cool and will really make my life better.
Mhm. Cool.
And like then they are armed to go back to their boss.
Right.
With
Right.
examples.
Cool.
So yeah, we should both talk to users more.
Yeah. Moral of the story. More. Who knew that was good advice? Who would have guessed?
It's almost like the most common piece of advice that everyone in the startup world who has been around the block will like beat you over the head with over and over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah, their advice doesn't count. You got to learn it for yourself. Yeah, otherwise, one thing I did spend some of my Monday doing. So this was inspired also in part by the new client we onboarded that you're working on. Basically, I just started like breaking down in FigJam layers. So like this is a bank. This is like a large enough bank. Here's all the data in that they need to protect. Here's the external threats that exist. And here's every single layer inside their org and all the orgs that managed every single layer. And like here's the things that push data into the sim. Here's things like that get pulled out of different threat intel feeds. Here's like basically it's like a market map, except operationalized into the existence of like a company. And or contextualizing. That would have been
so fucking useful when I was at Grey Noise or even before. Like that would be so. I still want to see that. Like I can't wait to see that.
I will show it to you. Mainly because our mutual our client is building a thing that isn't necessarily like a total replacement. It's kind of like.
Well, and they're still trying to figure out what product category it fits into and like how to position it and talk about it.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the problem is that like, well, I think like one of the things like when I explain what a type of tool does to our team, I'm explaining it in the vacuum of what that tool does, not in the context of like where it sits in the stack of security tools that a company that large would buy. But yeah, it is a process. It's like, mermaid diagrams are not great at doing that. So I actually don't think there's any tool besides like a FigJam type of like Miro or Lucidchart where you actually draw out the thing that can do it to the fidelity that I want. But yeah, I'm like 20%, maybe barely even 20% in at this point, just because there's.
And you're starting with a bank, and then you'll do like
it was a little ambitious to like target the the largest type of clients that our clients have. But I also felt like it felt like doing that would be easier later on because I can just cut different things out for like a smaller SaaS company or whatever. But
the quick and dirty version of this, same client in their product strategy doc, they just have a screenshot from like Claude or Perplexity or something that's just like, hey, describe like a midsize, an enterprise, and describe the structure of a security team at like a midsize company, an enterprise company, and like one other, I forget. And it's just like, here are the roles. Here's what those roles do for like midsize, for enterprise. And it was really helpful to look at. It's just like always good to refresh and go like, okay, right. Yeah. They're, they call this, like this thing doesn't exist until this size. And then like, yeah. And I mean, obviously it all is like generalized there. It'll be different from org to org, but even just having like a mental map to go off of, even if it's faulty, is so helpful.
Yeah, 100%. I'm trying to get it to be the fidelity of like this team. Here's the workflows, because I think you and I both listen to that podcast about messaging and stuff, and I think workflow segmentation is great for product like building messaging. And I realized that like there's no way that anyone else on the team can do it, not having experienced like a modicum of it.
If you give them access to users, they could.
That's true. That's fair.
Access to data sources.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but
anyway, that's been my side project.
Sick. Can't wait to see
my brain hurts from doing it. It's
That's
I feel
good.
like a CISO, except not on a CISO salary.
Yeah.
For
Any
what it's
chance
worth.
you can just convince Mike to do the next 10 and like publish them on Return on
Oh,
Security?
that's what I just asked a friend. I just asked a VC friend. I'm like, if you do this, I'll just pay you to make them. Yeah, yeah. I'll ask Mike next. We'll see. He's enough things going on. He's got.
Yeah.
Yeah, I asked him to do a if you wanted to do a research report like for one of our clients because they were going to pay
Mm-hmm.
a not insignificant amount of money for it. He's busy. He's too busy being successful, running his newsletter. You know,
Hell yeah.
he's got shit going on. He's VC now. He's all that stuff.
Love it.
Um,
I didn't know he was investing.
yeah, yeah. I think he's doing Angel plus is semi in part of. I don't think he's like an official like GP at this UK VC company, but I think he's heavily involved in it as like an advisor or something. But
That's cool.
I don't know.
That seems like a good fit for him.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool.
I agree.
I want to let's like keep this rolling. Like I want to I think I want to commit to 2 more videos.
Cool.
No. Next recording I'm out half of this week. So let's just do I'm going to say 1 more video, and I want to say like at least a prototype of like a free tool.
Okay.
But that feels a little ambitious without a full week and with like 2 client projects starting up.
Yeah.
So let's just say 1 video, and fuck it. Yeah, let's just say 1 video for now.
Cool.
Yeah,
All right. I feel like
I'm gonna have another video out.
cool. I will go do at least 1 session with the respondent, assuming I can just pay for one-off sessions. Wow,
I mean,
it's almost
you
like
should do at least like 5 or something. Not you don't
oh,
have to
then,
do 5 by Wednesday, but you should.
oh
If
yeah,
you're gonna
yeah.
pay for them, just go ahead. If you're doing all the work to set up a project, just like have schedule 5 at some point.
Fair.
Yeah.
Sure, I can. Yeah.
But yeah, try to have 1 done by Wednesday. Is great.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like we're finally doing the thing that our podcast is called.
Yeah. We gotta write this shit down and like hold each other accountable.
Yeah. Just put in the show notes.
Yeah, I'm putting it in. That's a good idea. I'm gonna put it in Slack.
Nice.
For now. Okay,
Nice.
Andrew is publishing 1 more demo video. Sean is scheduling 1 user interview.
Nice. $80.
Sick.
Yeah.
Love it.
Cool. I'm gonna do 1. I just looked at the pricing. You either buy 1 or you buy 60. So
Wait, what?
yeah, it's you can buy a credit bundle, which gives you 60 research sessions, but it's $72 a session, or you buy on demand $80 a session.
Yeah, but I think you can do on demand and do like 5.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Although for some reason, oh, that's right. I said 10 professionals. So if I scale that down to 5, okay. $400 pays you go. You might have to. I wonder, that might not include incentives. Like often you have to offer an additional incentive.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What type of incentive?
Like a gift card.
Oh.
That's how user interviews works. Like maybe this includes the incentive, which would be kind of impressive. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sweet. All right.
Okay. Enjoy Lion's Head National Park.
Appreciate it.
Don't get stuck in Canada.
I do have. We're doing a point-to-point trail instead of a loop trail, and so I have called like a bunch of taxi companies, and there's like no taxi company anywhere near the park.
That's why you were calling a Canadian taxi company. That makes more sense.
So
I see.
I got a Canadian taxi company who has told me that they will be there at the pickup lot at 9 a.m. tomorrow. It's going to cost like 172 Canadian dollars
Oh, it's like
before
$2 US.
before tip.
Okay.
And then but I'm just like crossing my fingers that they're really going to show up, because if they
It's
don't,
Canada. It's Canada. They don't break promises there. They're not like
I hope not,
Americans.
because if not, then we're just gonna have to drive to the top and then hike down and hope we can hitchhike. Maybe.
What are you gonna do with your car if you drive to the top?
Well, we would hike down and then hitchhike back up to the top.
Oh,
and then
I see.
And then drive home. But ideally, taxi's there when they say they're going to be there. We leave our car at the bottom. They take us to the top, drop us off, and then we hike down.
Nice.
So
cool. All right. Enjoy. Have fun.
Thanks.
I'll see you later. Let me know how it goes. Bye.